That feels like forever ago. I mean, it's like I got to think back to that time period. Actually, my wrist healed up, and I had like this splint on my wrist for 10 days, maybe 2 weeks after the surgery, and the surgeon, uh, I came in to meet with him, and they took the splint off, and he was like, "Good to go," and I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean good to go? Like I could still kind of peel my incision apart and like see inside of my hand. He's like, that wrist is stronger than your other wrist will ever be. And I was like, all right, cool. But that was, that was the, I guess, the medical side of it. But till I actually felt completely healthy and ready to go, it was into the spring of 2020. That just the whole season, I think, kind of wore on me a lot more than most seasons. Not just the wrist injury, but all the other things, that just accumulated over the course of the year. So I definitely felt ready to go in the summertime last year, but having the year off, as hard as it has been, the one good thing that I think all of us have taken from it is physically we've been able to get back to being as healthy as we've ever been in our careers. So that's a positive for sure. It's of course been a strange off season for everybody. I mean, whatever it's been, 18 months compared to normally 6, or we're probably getting closer on 19, 20 months. But you know, as everybody always says that's been interviewed about this whole process, we always have our schedule, how we work out in the off season. I generally take December for holidays with the family, start getting back into it in January, and then you kind of like, you have a build up, right? And so uh, 2020 was really challenging because there was like the date kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And it was like, man, I'm trying not to peak or get burnt out too early, and so you're really like playing this guessing game. And then when they canceled the season, it was like, obviously a huge letdown for everybody, but it was also a challenge because it's like, okay, now it's like August, September, whatever it was, and you're planning for an on-time start for the next season. So you're trying to figure out, okay, now I have this extended time period to try to get ready for 2021. So, once the calendar turned for 2021 and it hit January, it was like, okay, I know what to do. I know what the routine is. I know what the schedule is, but still at the back of your mind, there was always this thing of like, man, this thing's probably not going to get started on time. And even if we do play, it's probably not going to be until August or something like that. And it may get canceled altogether. So it was really mentally challenging to figure out what that sweet spot was. So, I think back in April when the league announced that, the start was getting pushed back to August 5th. I think at that point in time, I've been in the weight room training because they opened up all the facilities here in Washington State, around November, December, or something like that. So I was able to train 4 times a week like I always do. But in terms of throwing, again, that's something that I always try to time correctly. And so I was throwing, taking it pretty light, honestly, only a couple of times a month for the first few months of the year. But once April hit and they announced August 5th, I just figured, okay, I'm going to plan on that being the start date. I'm going to train as if that's the start date. And then if it gets pushed back a month, okay, whatever, I can make that work. And then beyond that, it's going to be a canceled season. So I just prepared as if August was going to be the start date. And so I've been throwing 3 or 4 times a week now, just trying to build. The strength is there, the health is there. It's always the stamina, right? But until you actually get in a huddle, break the huddle, and your adrenaline's flowing and you're going full speed, there still is going to be a lot of, I guess, things, growth, conditioning, stamina build up, all that stuff that's going to happen during this training camp. And there's going to be a lot of rust to knock off for sure.